1971, a year where rock didn't just make noise, it made history. A protest disguised as a lullaby, a farewell hidden in a whisper, a guitar solo that split time in half. These weren't just songs, they were storms, warnings, dreams. And somehow, they all happened in the same year. Ready to go back? Let's rewind to 10 unforgettable rock tracks from 1971 and the stories that still echo through time. Number 10, Imagine by John Lennon.
Living life in peace, you.
Few songs feel as timeless or as quietly revolutionary as Imagine. Released in 1971, it sounded gentle, a simple piano, soft vocals, and dreamlike lyrics.
I hope someday you'll join us.
But beneath that calm exterior was a radical vision of a world without borders, religion, or possessions. What many don't realize is that much of the lyrical inspiration came from Yoko Ono's poetry, especially the line, "Imagine the clouds dripping."
You may say I'm a dreamer.
Lennon later admitted she deserved co-writing credit. Despite the controversy it stirred, Imagine became a global anthem, a soft-spoken protest that crossed cultures and generations. It didn't scream, it didn't demand, it simply invited us to rethink everything we took for granted.
Imagine all the people.
More than 50 years later, that whisper of a song still echoes louder than most revolutions. Number 9, Baba O'Reilly by The Who. It begins with a loop, hypnotic, pulsing, endless. Then suddenly, The Who crashes in, and Roger Daltrey unleashes a voice like a lightning bolt. Teenage Wasteland. Many still confuse that iconic phrase for the song's title, but Baba O'Reilly was actually named after two of Pete Townshend's inspirations, Indian spiritual teacher Meher Baba and experimental composer Terry Riley. Originally written for a shelved rock opera called Lifehouse, the song broke free from its concept roots and became an anthem of raw youth and rebellion. The violin solo at the end, spontaneous, wild, captured that untamed spirit perfectly. Half a century later, the opening synth still hooks you, and the lyrics still resonate with anyone who's ever felt lost, restless, or ready to burn the world down just to feel alive. Number 8, Children of the Grave by Black Sabbath. In 1971, Black Sabbath turned heavy metal into something more than just sound. They made it a warning. Children of the Grave, from the album Master of Reality, roared with thunder, but carried a message of fear, resistance, and hope. Inspired by the rising anti-war movement, the song was designed to haunt. Ozzy's vocals, the relentless riffs, and ghostly spoken lines beneath the chorus weren't accidents. They were deliberate choices meant to feel like a siren in the dark. Unlike their earlier work, this wasn't just horror or doom for effect. It was a protest. Against nuclear fear, against blind conformity, against the erasure of youth voices in a chaotic world. With Children of the Grave, Sabbath didn't just define the future of metal, they gave it a conscience. Number 7, Riders on the Storm by The Doors.
Like a dog without a bone and actor alone.
Riders on the Storm feels less like a song and more like a ghost story. Released in 1971 on L.A. Woman, it was the final track Jim Morrison ever recorded with The Doors. Just weeks later, he was gone. The rain, the slow groove, the whispered vocals, all of it felt eerie even before we knew it was a farewell. Morrison added those whispers late in the studio, saying they gave the song an otherworldly edge.
Take a long holiday.
What began as a psychedelic experiment became something haunting, a dream turning into fog, a voice disappearing into the storm it created.
Give this man a ride, sweet memories.
In the years since, the song has taken on new weight. It's no longer just a moody masterpiece, it's Morrison's final echo, fading into rain. Number 6. Roundabout by Yes. It started in the back of a van, scribbled on paper as the band drove through the winding roads of Scotland. That's where John Anderson and Steve Howe wrote the bones of Roundabout, a song that would come to define progressive rock in 1971. Released on the album Fragile, Roundabout broke all the rules. Shifting time signatures, surreal lyrics, and a structure that twisted like the roads that inspired it. Radio stations hesitated. It was too long, too strange. But listeners didn't care. Steve Howe's acoustic riff and Chris Squire's powerful bass line pulled fans into a sonic maze. It didn't need a traditional chorus. It didn't need to fit in. Roundabout built its own world, one that felt alive, expansive, and endlessly replayable. Number 5. Life on Mars by David Bowie. Released in 1971 on Hunky Dory, Life on Mars felt like a question wrapped in a dream. Bowie painted surreal images, Mickey Mouse, war, broken romance, like flashes from a broken screen. The song tells the story of a young girl escaping to the cinema, only to find that even fantasy reflects the same broken world outside. It's a kaleidoscope of confusion, beauty, and social critique, all delivered through Bowie's soaring voice. The music follows that same emotional arc, starting with Rick Wakeman's fragile piano, then rising into full orchestral chaos, as if chasing something just out of reach. Originally meant as a parody of My Way, Bowie ended up creating one of his most powerful anthems, not of answers, but of questions. More than 50 years later, Life on Mars still feels like a puzzle we can't stop staring at. Number 4. Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones. Raw, reckless, and impossible to ignore, Brown Sugar exploded onto the airwaves in 1971 as the lead single from Sticky Fingers. Its opening riff, jagged and bluesy, became one of the most recognizable in rock history. Keith Richards stumbled upon it by instinct, but it sounded like it had always been waiting to be found. The lyrics, written by Mick Jagger in a burst of chaotic energy, blended themes of race, sex, and power in a way that was as controversial as it was infectious. Even decades later, the song continues to spark debate. But musically, it was pure swagger. Fast, loud, and unapologetic, Brown Sugar captured the Stones at their most untamed and most dangerous. It wasn't just a hit, it was a shot of adrenaline that still surges through rock's bloodstream. Number 3. Echoes by Pink Floyd. At over 23 minutes long, Echoes wasn't just a track, it was a voyage. Released in 1971 on the album Metal, it filled an entire side of vinyl and marked a turning point in Pink Floyd's evolution. The song began as fragments, ambient sounds, unfinished melodies, wordless harmonies. But when they came together, they formed something vast, a sonic journey through space, water, and the subconscious. David Gilmour's slide guitar glides like light across the ocean, while Richard Wright's shimmering keys create waves of texture. And I am you, and what I see is me. There's no traditional structure, no hook, just sound, rising and falling like tides. Echoes defied everything the radio demanded, but in doing so, it opened new doors for what rock could become. Cinematic, abstract, infinite. Even today, it doesn't play, it immerses. Number 2. Aqualung by Jethro Tull.
Greasy fingers smearing shabby clothes.
Grimy, poetic, and unsettling, Aqualung wasn't supposed to be an anthem, but it became one anyway. Released in 1971, the title track of Jethro Tull's landmark album told the story of a homeless man, broken and forgotten, watching the world move past him. On the surface, it was gritty and personal, but beneath that, it carried biting social commentary, a critique of religion, class, and the cruelty of indifference.
As he bends to take a target, when he goes down.
Ian Anderson never intended it to be a concept song, but fans couldn't help connecting the dots. Musically, it was bold and unclassifiable, shifting between hard rock power and acoustic reflection. Too thoughtful to be radio-friendly, too strange to be mainstream, yet too unforgettable to ignore. With Aqualung, Jethro Tull didn't just create a song, they carved out a space where ugliness could speak truth and be heard. Number 1. Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin.
Yes, there are two paths you can go by, but in the long run.
It was never released as a single, yet somehow Stairway to Heaven became one of the most played and most debated songs in rock history. Released in 1971 on Led Zeppelin 4, it began with a gentle acoustic melody and ended in a thunderstorm of guitar and emotion.
There's still time to change the road you're on.
Jimmy Page didn't improvise the solo. Every note, every bend was meticulously composed like a symphony of fire. Robert Plant's lyrics, filled with mysticism and riddles, sparked decades of analysis and obsession. Radio stations weren't supposed to touch it, but fans kept calling, over and over again.
In a tree by the brook.
Stairway to Heaven didn't ride a wave, it created one. It wasn't just a hit, it was a spiritual experience, a legend etched in vinyl. Even 50 years later, it still builds, it still burns, and it still leaves us breathless at the top.
'Cause you know sometimes words have two meanings.
These 10 songs didn't just define 1971, they became its soul. Each one a time capsule, echoing louder with every passing year. They weren't chasing trends, they were building legacies. From whispered goodbyes to thunderous awakenings, 1971 gave us more than music. It gave us memories that still shake the speakers. But if you think that year was unforgettable, wait until you hear what came next. Subscribe now and join us as we rewind to more years that changed rock forever.